McCain-Feingold limits what Second Amendment groups can do, limits my taxpayer group from buying advertising. It's actually illegal for me to buy advertising within 60 days of the election under McCain-Feingold. So I tell them, if you want the Second Amendment, you want to defend the Second, you got to defend the First. And I said, if you want the Second Amendment, you want to be free from government intrusion and looking and snooping about what guns you have in your house, you've got to believe in the Fourth Amendment. So you can't have the Patriot Act, which eviscerated the Fourth Amendment, if you really want to be free in your home to be allowed to own guns for personal protection.
Yeah, give that website out again for folks.
It's randpaul2010.com.
And can folks go ahead and go to randpaul2010.com and donate?
They can. We have a donation. We have a ticker on the site, actually. And I was joking. I tell people we've got two really old political hacks out in California, age 24 and 25, evidence of the youth movement, who have done this website for me and have done a great job.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. So randpaul2010.com. I got a lot of questions for you in the 10 minutes or so we have left with you, Dr. Rand Paul, son of Congressman Ron Paul. We have bills introduced in Congress that are just really off the chart. We have the bill to put everybody on a no-fly list, 1,100,000 Americans in this Kafkaesque system, no judge, no jury, no face your accuser, no more Second Amendment. That's racing through the House. We have the Cyberbullying Act being pushed by the character Hannah Montana, that if the feds if someone signs an affidavit saying something hurt their feelings, federal felony charges, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there's no doubt Obama is making a tyrannical move that I have to say dwarfs Bush. I didn't think that was possible. What should we do about that from your view?
I think we have to, work at sunsetting the Patriot Act or repealing the entire thing outright. I think one of the great ironies, and I actually kind of laughed to see what Jane Harmon got caught up in. Here's a woman who went along with Bush on supporting all these wireless tapping, and then she gets caught up with her phone tapped. But it's not a laughing matter for the rest of us, because my wife and I were sitting this morning, and we're getting these random emails, and we don't know if it's just spam or not, but some of them are in either Arabic or Hebrew. We're not sure what language, but we were kind of laughing and saying, well, you know what, someone's probably sending us email. Now we'll get on a list, and now they can look at our email. Well, we laugh, but that could actually be true, that someone sends you a random email that's from another country with another language we don't even understand, but now they say, well, look, you're getting it from this person who's on a watch list. We're allowed to look at all of Rand Paul's email. And I don't know if that happens, but I know under the Patriot Act, they can do that.
No, that's exactly what they do, but they don't even do that anymore. I mean, they'll get whole terrorism investigations by just going up to somebody at a restaurant or bar and saying, think we might have to have a shooting war someday? Yeah, Bob, you do. Boom, they'll open a whole Spence account for, 10 or 15 feds to follow you around for 2 or 3 years. That's how they operate. So your instincts are right, Doctor.
Well, it's amazing, and it's not brand new either. If you look back at the history during World War I of what they did through the Sedition and Espionage Acts, there's a famous court case, and I think Napolitano writes about this in his book. It was a farmer out in Montana, and he goes down to the feed store with 2 or 3 of his buddies, and he says, well, I think this war is about a bunch of bankers getting rich in New York, and I don't care much about those Germans. Says this in World War II. They put him in jail. And the first judge that hears the case under the Espionage Act says, well, maybe we ought to use a little common sense here, and if it looks like he's going to be able to affect the outcome of the war by going down to the feed store and being against World War I, maybe that's a different story. And so he
Stay there, Doctor. Final segment with Rand Paul. Stay with us. Yeah, the statistics are out there. We got it posted up on InfoWars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. The government admits that 90% or more of the people picked up at Guantanamo Bay and other camps in Europe were picked up by rival clans. And I had this former CIA section chief over Afghanistan on. He wrote the book Jawbreaker, and he admitted that they'd pay him $24,000 to $25,000, as high as $30,000 per head. And they'd mainly just grab 14, 15, 16-year-old goat herders who had no history because, they didn't want to grab somebody from a real, terror group because they'd come after them. And they would just sell them to the U.S., and they admit that most of the intelligence was gained through torture. So when they say they're going to release Al-Qaeda on the streets of America, no, Obama's talking about taking them to new camps in the U.S. with indefinite torture and having a new kangaroo court do it. So, and they're calling that liberal. Well, this is a scary precedent. Obama's saying he's going to continue indefinite detention, Rand Paul.
there's at least one prisoner down there that I've read about who was a former governor of a province in Afghanistan. He was a supporter of Karzai and a supporter of the U.S. government by all appearances, but then a rival clan who wanted to take over the governorship turned him in and said he was collaborating with the Taliban. But it's kind of unclear whether these people are guilty, not guilty, whether a rival clan wants to take their turf. And like we talked about, 90% of these people in Guantanamo were not picked up directly by the U.S. troops or picked up by other local troops who then profess that these people are related. But the hard part of this is that inevitably some of these people are fighters. Some of them do go back to the battlefield and fight us. So really, can we release them in our country? I'm not sure if they all can be tried properly either. So really, I think deportation or sending them back to their country of origin might be the best way to go. And none of it's fair because some have been held for years and years without trial. If they truly are people who are involved with attacking the U.S., I think maybe then they should get life sentences and some should stay in prison.
But they deserve a trial.
Exactly. They deserve
because
a trial.
Because if they don't get a trial, we're not going to get a trial. We know, Dr. Paul, they're using the Patriot Act against non-terror-related cases. They've set the precedent. All of this is going to come back on us.
Right. Oh, I agree with you. And then ultimately, though, if you cannot figure out how to have a trial and cannot have enough evidence to do this, I think deportation is the only acceptable way. And I think you deport them to where they were captured. Now, they say, these countries won't take them back. Well, I think we have enough military force in Afghanistan that they can be taken back to Afghanistan at the very least. And I think that would be acceptable for the vast majority of people. It gets rid of the idea of having to try them. And then, a lot of us aren't going to be too happy if, you take people who are potentially violent, and we don't know this, but are potentially violent, just put them on the streets of Austin. I think sending them back to where we captured them is probably the best thing. The
media just does that to demonize releasing any of them. Final question, Dr. Rand Paul. We have the DHS report that we broke and the MIAC report that we broke. When Ron Paul first got it, he didn't believe it. We don't make stuff up, but I don't blame him. I mean, it's pretty crazy. But the point is saying that veterans, gun owners, conservatives, Ron Paul supporters are basically terrorists. Another example of how this war on terror is being used against the American people.
I think the great irony of this, and it would be funny if it weren't so sad, is that one of the criteria for being on the list could be if you're an adamant defender of the Constitution. So defenders of the Constitution, those who talk about the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, those people, or even people who are ex-military veterans who have served their country and come home, these are the people we have to worry about and put on a special list. I think it's really, really horrifying, and there should be just universal outrage. And, tell you the truth, once it became public, I was unsure what would happen. But the amazing thing is the more y'all talked about it, the more they did get worried that they were targeting regular U.S. citizens, and at least officially pulled that off their websites because of things that y'all talked about.
Dr. Rand Paul, let me say bye to you during this break and maybe even hold you over a minute or two because I want to give out that website again, and I want to give out a number for folks that may not have computers. Let me tell you a little bit about one of our great sponsors, HomeGain.com. This is the place to get you started buying or selling a home, finding a realtor, and getting any real estate questions answered. Go to HomeGain.com and see what I'm talking about. All you need to do is type in your home address, and you will get an instant free estimate of your home's value online. This is a great way to be able to monitor the value of your home. And again, it's absolutely free. There are tons of tools to help you. For instance, if you want to remodel your home, go to HomeGain.com. Use their Home Sale Maximizer to help you determine which home improvements can most increase your home's value before you put it on the market. For 10 years, these folks have been helping home sellers and buyers. Visit their link at InfoWars.com. Look for Max, the orange home gain gorilla, to help you with any real estate needs you might have. You'll love this site. It's HomeGain.com, HomeGain.com. Check them out today.